Office of Inspector General puts out a letter to NOPD warning the department it may be in violation of a law for purchases made on police vehicles.
It says the city used tens of thousands of dollars in public funds to buy specialized rims and tires. Josh Robertson has the latest.
Well, Rob, Kelsey, that OIG report released this morning says the NOPD may have violated state public bid law after purchasing new tires and chrome rims for NOPD commander vehicles. The original complaint actually came from the Metropolitan Crime Commission of New Orleans, alleging the NOPD sent their new Chevy Tahoe units to replace the original high-speed tires and black rims with, quote, softer ride tires, as well as chrome or silver rims and wheel caps that were said to be more visually attractive than the black rims. According to the complaint in the OIG's letter, these Tahoe units were assigned to NOPD ranking officers who, quote, allegedly wanted their vehicles to deliver a more comfortable ride. Now, in a statement, the New Orleans Inspector General, Edward Michel, said the verbal justifications provided by the city that the tires offered a smoother ride and that the chrome rims distinguished the NOPD commander vehicles from regular patrol vehicles were purely cosmetic and a wasteful use of over $42,000. Additionally, the aftermarket tires may not have complied with the mandated police vehicle specifications, which could have increased the risk of tire failure. According to the report, the city is supposed to put purchases over $20,000 out for a sealed public bid, but the Inspector General says that did not happen. Rob, back to you.